welcome to the Special Moves podcast. This is a special 2021 forward look episode while we have a little break over Christmas. My name is Mike Williams. These guys are Jake Lukowski and Liam McKelvey.
Hello. Hello,
Hi.
everybody. Happy Christmas,
Hello.
I think. Or just is it after Christmas when this is?
Also,
This
we
will
have
be
no
after.
idea whether or not it's going to be happy or not. It's
Well, I hope you guys had a Christmas.
Yep.
We can certainly say Christmas. Happy, that's up for debate. Anyway, let's talk about
That was
some
almost
games.
like a threat. Like, happy Christmas.
Yeah.
No, I'll give you a fucking Christmas. But all right. So
we had some bad news over here in Britain yesterday. So
And the bad news for anyone listening is what, Mike?
Christmas is essentially cancelled.
Yeah, officially. Shop. Yeah, literally. Yeah. So shops got shut from we got six. The telly went on, and then the people in charge of the country was like, "Well, in 6 hours, all the shops are shutting, apart from the shops where you can buy bread and stuff. But if you haven't done early Christmas shopping yet, go fuck yourself."
Also,
And then that was
the deliveries and Royal Mail and all that is completely fucking swamped anyway because of the COVID. But even more so now, I'm sure, because I was stood in a shop yesterday ordering things off Amazon while Laura was filling up a basket of stuff. When kids around me started telling their parents that Christmas has been cancelled because they've just seen it on Facebook. Or kids don't use Facebook, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Social media of choice.
TikTok.
Yeah, they saw it on TikTok.
How'd you communicate that on fucking TikTok? Someone's dancing to Boris Johnson. But right. Anyway, but that's not what we're here for. This isn't a current affairs podcast. Shut up. This is a games podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to be
behind us and look to the greener pastures of 2021.
Please, God, be greener. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up this year. A lot of games on the kind of on the calendar that are just TBC. We don't know when they're going to come out, even what year. A lot of them. So we're going to run through games that are confirmed for 2021 or we suspect may come out in 2021. There are certain games that you just feel like they're miles off, so we won't even bring them up. But I don't know if we need to necessarily go through these in chronological order or anything like that. That seems boring to me. I think it would be more interesting if we just kind of popped through our lists of things that what comes to mind when you think about next year. What are you guys looking forward to? Also in the comments, join in, let us know what you're looking forward to. Send us in your emails to Dear Special Moves, anything you've been anticipating. Has Cyberpunk 2077, which has turned out to be one of the biggest gaming disasters of all time, changed your mind on how excited you are about the games coming up? Let us know. Dear Special Moves, the inbox is always open, and leave your comments down below as well. All right, lads. In no particular order whatsoever, what are you looking forward to?
So my first game's actually out pretty soon. It's confirmed as well, this one. So instead of 2021, swap those last two around. We'll journey back to 2012, and it is Scott Pilgrim, the game, complete edition.
Right.
Nice. That's
So,
good. Right.
It's just, I think it's been said many a time across different YouTube channels how much I love this game. How much I adore it. The pixel art is amazing. The music is amazing. And it was one of those games that got got delisted because of, just licensing and all that happens with it.
Yeah.
But it's finally coming back. Ubisoft and the comic creators managed to reach an agreement. I think they teased it at E3, I think, wasn't it?
It was
not E3.
Ubisoft Forward.
Yeah, whatever they were calling it. And it's coming to everything as well this time, because it was only on PS3 and Xbox 360 back in 2012, but now it's coming to PC, Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and then I'm assuming it'll be on PS5 and Xbox Series as well, because of backwards compatibility and all that. So it's nice to have this game finally available again. with all the DLC included, because it had weirdly quite a few DLC packs for what was a movie tie-in game at the end of the day.
Right.
Which actually added like more characters and game modes. And if you don't know what it is, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up set in the world of Scott Pilgrim. You can play as Scott, Ramona Flowers, Stephen Stills, and I can't remember who the fourth playable character is. Oh well, doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a fantastic side-scrolling beat-em-up. Like amazing music, beautiful pixel art. Just it's a joy to play through. And if you've played games like River City Ransom or recently River City Girls, that's exactly how it plays. You get put through these stages, and there's like some slight RPG elements to it, where you've got leveling up, you can use weapons, you can buy stat boosts from like hidden shops in the background for your characters. It's just an all-round lovely little game, and to finally have it back is amazing.
I never played it.
And with online co-op, I think, this time.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the natural step forward for it, and it shouldn't be that hard to implement like in 2021. But yeah, it seems to be one of those like locked to the Xbox arcade classics that people remember fondly. Like I remember playing Castle Crashers a lot and looking at this and people saying it was a bit similar, but I never went in.
It's kind of similar.
The only reason I didn't go in was because it was like a movie tie-in game, like you said. But you know, they can surprise you. And this one, like there's been a lot of frantic requests for this for like 5, 10, 5 years or so. So yeah, that's out soon, isn't it?
Yeah, January 14th. So very, very soon. Literally a couple weeks. Well, 3-4 weeks. So very soon. And I'm looking forward to it a lot, to put it lightly.
I don't know what the release date for this particular title is. I know that it's playable in January. So let me just have a quick look. I'm really looking forward to the prospect, and I don't know why, really. Oh, it's coming out March 26th.
Okay.
But I think there's a playable demo of it, and it's Capcom. It's one of the many Capcom games I'm looking forward to this year coming up. But it's Monster Hunter Rise, which is on the Switch.
Oh, right.
Yay.
Which is like it's actually like a really well. First of all Monster Hunters, typically are on handheld, right? Monster Hunter World was like a big picture extravaganza, great graphics. It was really good, and they did the big follow-up DLC for it called Iceborne, which I actually didn't play because it was full price or something like that, and it came out at a time when I was not paying full price for a DLC. But I think that the graphics for this was like threw me off guard. Like I was like, this is a Switch, or is this the PS4 again? Is it like another one? But no, it's a completely new Monster Hunter game, and I played Monster Hunter with my friend Kale back in the day on the PSP, but Monster Hunter World, I properly did play it, like to the point where I kind of understood the builds, and I spent time on, YouTube watching like build videos and learning about all this and that. And like, I do quite like that aspect of it, but I just wished I could have done that in bed. So now I can, and it just feels like a
blessing.
Yeah,
completely like. So yeah, I feel like the kind of the ritualistic gameplay of Monster Hunter, killing the same enemies, skinning them, and using their bones to make giant hammers to crush the enemies, is like very relaxing. And so I'm completely on board. They just released some. Monster Hunter fans are a little bit wild. They care very much about like little tiny details, and so they've just released some new videos. Capcom can market whatever they wanted. They could literally have made a 45-second video about the new cats in the game, isn't it? Palicos or whatever. Yeah. People would lose their shit. But what they did, they started drip feeding people the new move sets for the weapons, and that's enough of a talking point for Monster Hunter fans. But if you do have a little click through it, like I don't know, if you played Monster Hunter World and you click it, I used the hammer, for example. And if you click through and you look at the hammer moveset, you go, "Oh, that is an improvement that you can do this and this and this." So I think it looks like a really cool, like, I don't want to say it's like for like, but it doesn't look like a downgrade of Monster Hunter World, which they did release actually a Monster Hunter game after World for the Switch called, I think it was
Generations.
Generations, which did look like a big downgrade. Yeah, but this does not, and I'm really surprised that this is running on the Switch. So I think this will be my first purchase of the year of 2021. So Yeah, that's a Monster
Nice.
Hunter Rise, which it's so. And even then, when I just googled it, it said initial release date January 26, 2021, but then it says March 2021. But I know that I know that there's some people who I know who are like getting ready to play it in January. So I don't know if it's a beta or if it's out in Japan, or is it maybe just like that press and influencers get to play it a bit earlier or something like that. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one.
I think the first game that I'll get this year is Hitman 3.
Oh yeah,
out in January. It's out on January 20th. It's out on next gen. It's out on previous gen. It's out on PC. I do love a bit of Hitman. I came in really though at Hitman 2, and then I got the Hitman 1. It's all a bit, the way the Hitman thing works is very modular. I don't know if you cast your minds back to the first Hitman, which isn't really the first Hitman, but you know what I'm saying. The first new Hitman, it was like episodic. It was, they released a level and then another level and another level. And they kind of keep that going in Hitman 2, and you could bring in your Hitman 1 levels to Hitman 2, but they looked a bit different, played a bit different. It's a really cool, like, just jumping in and messing around kind of experience. If you play games a certain way where you're not, you don't need to be completely invested in the story, or you don't need to be completely kind of, I don't know. It's got this really nice exploration feel that also, which is totally different to the kind of exploration feel that you'd get from Assassin's Creed or an open world game, because the exploration is very pointed. You're trying to achieve something. You're trying to achieve things in a certain way, and you can a level will have a target in there, but you can come at that target a load of different ways, and the game encourages you to rerun the levels and
you explore methods as much as you explore places.
And you can unlock different ways of doing things. You can unlock alternate objectives all the time, all the way through replaying and replaying. But they're really good, polished games, and I think Hitman 3 is like something that I need on my PS5 at the moment. I feel like I need that kind of like, it's the levels are always like stunning to look at, and they're really imaginative a lot of the time.
Yeah. When I think of like what some of these next gen offerings are, a lot of them aren't really utilizing the real power of the consoles, for example, but specifically consoles now. And I mean, I'm not meaning to single out PC users or anything, but for next gen console owners, this is like the first time that there's like SSDs involved. So like a game like Hitman that looks as good as it does and things like that, and it is these huge levels. I remember that was the only thing that was hindering my enjoyment of the last one. Was I was still on a base PS4, right? And I just remember the game being super loud, which is like kind of distracting when you're kind of skulking around.
Your console.
Yeah, my console was like sounding like someone was doing a vacuuming, and I'm trying to.
You were like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
trying to kill a weapon.
Exactly. I'm fucking around. So I think this is going to really benefit from the SSD, and I think that there's ray tracing involved. And polish is so right. The game looks absolutely gorgeous from what we've already seen, and like that they can deliver. I think is this also. I don't know if I'm right on this. It might not be, but I have a feel. Is this the first time that they've gone fully independent, or was that for Hitman 2?
No, I think they were. They still had a publisher. I think when they did Hitman 2. I think
Crystal Dynamics or Warner Bros. It was something to do with.
Yeah, I think they were independent for 2, but Warner Bros. Was like, "We'll give you a hand." Sort of like like they've done for.
It was their transitional period, right?
It was happening at that time.
Yes, so this is their first fully independent.
They're
venture,
publishing it themselves, aren't they?
Which doesn't matter to anyone that's listening who just wants to play a fucking game. But I guess in the meta of things, it's always good to look after a good development studio who are independent.
I mean, they just got the.
Go on then.
Oh, I was just going to say, did you see the thing? They got the James Bond IP as well.
Yeah,
like they're making a James Bond game.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm looking forward to Hitman, and I'm looking forward to just being able to spark it up and just explore things at my own pace. I do like to play games that way, and this is they're sandboxes, I suppose you'd say, as opposed to open worlds.
Totally.
Which I really enjoy, and I get along with that kind of gameplay really well. All right, what else we got?
What else? February 26th, Bravely Default 2. I'm looking forward to quite a lot. And they actually put out a demo just the other day for this, a 5-hour demo where the game's not locked. It literally just gives you 5 hours to do as much as you want. And so even though it's called Bravely Default 2, it's the third game in the series.
Of course it is. I thought that's a very straightforward title. There's got to be something going on there.
Oh yeah, they already had Bravely Default. There was Bravely Default on the 3DS, and as is Square Enix tradition, they released a direct sequel called Bravely Second. So you thought, oh, let's call it Bravely Third. No, this is Bravely Default 2, and it's on the Switch. But it's a very classical style turn-based JRPG. It's got a sort of like the battle system. If you ever played like Octopath Traveler, that had the same battle system where you could like stock up to 4 turns, or you could expend 4 turns early, but then you left yourself at risk of being open for 4 turns. And it added this like dynamic where you could like repeatedly build up attacks, or you could go on the defensive and then unleash like a barrage of attacks later on, or moves or spells, whatever. And it's got this like sort of like all the artwork in the game, like the backgrounds and the towns and stuff, looks like it's like hand painted sort of thing going on to it, but then it's got 3D models, like character models imposed over it. But it's a very like traditional JRPG, pretty much, made by Square Enix. It's got great music. It has a job system where you can customize each character to be whatever you want them to be. Do you want them to be a mage or a knight or a monk or whatever? It's up to you. You can decide whoever you want them to be. It's like, and I think it is published by Nintendo, but developed by Square Enix. So it is a Switch exclusive, and will be forever, I'm assuming. But I'm looking forward to it, because the first one was great, with a absolutely awful end game to it, where you have to replay the same like chunk of the game about 8 times in a row before it actually gets to like show you the final true ending boss. The second one, Bravely Second, was much better in that regard. But and it's like, it's interesting to see what they'll do with this one, because like they did one. They've been doing that thing with where they ask fans for feedback. Like they'll put a demo out and then they'll say, now do this survey and tell us what you liked and didn't like about it.
Right.
And then they did that, and they put a trailer out with this demo saying, here's all the things we took into account from your survey. We've changed this, we've changed that, we've done this, we've done that. So it's weird. It's like, it's got this weird sense to it, where it's like almost the fan base and community have helped shape the final game in a way. So I've got the demo downloaded for it. I'm going to give that a go eventually. It's like, it's good old-fashioned JRPG fun, like from the SNES or PS1 era. It's
when you get those like traditional JRPGs, like formula's so cool and so people can be so confident with it that they can really work. Like Dragon Quest, the new Dragon Quest that just came out, is just so traditional. It's not doing anything different, and look at the review scores. People are out there literally saying this is the best game ever made, and these are people who are like genuine, like been playing games for a long time. People with a lot of weight, I guess, in those circles anyway, are saying this is the best game ever, and it's literally just a JRPG. So I don't want to really feature this one properly, so I'll just glance over it and then talk about a different one. But I'll tell you what, Square Enix, I am keeping an eye out for another bit of February output from them, which is Outriders.
I was gonna say that myself.
To be fair, like I've got a good feeling about this. Like the developers have worked on some good stuff before, like Fortnite. They actually were like some of the people to do the groundwork to what is Fortnite. I don't know if you guys know that, but then I think they're most famous for working on the game Painkiller, and then they did Bulletstorm. Good. Yeah, so they apparently know their bullets, yeah. But this again, like this is something I'm just hoping. Eventually, it's going to happen. Eventually, some clever bunch of people are going to look at all of the looter shooter, ARPGs, MMO light offerings, and just look at where things are going right and look at where things are going wrong and taking notes and implementing that, and they get it right. And I just hope that this is the one to do it, because we just had Godfall that was basically stillborn into the world. Like it literally, no one gives a shit about Godfall. I'm surprised, like even people that were mad on Godfall don't care. And it's been about a week and a half to, it's been about a month or whatever. And the game had lots of potential, but it couldn't cash in on all that. And I don't mean like, literally cash in, but I mean, it couldn't really work with what it's got. Outriders could be great if it can,
Yeah. It's difficult to not be generic in that genre. That's the problem. It's really difficult to, and especially if your game's called Godfall and it looks like Godfall and it plays the way Godfall plays, and there's nothing that leaps out at you as I don't mean to upset anyone who's a big fan of the game or whatever. That's.
Well, I don't think you need to worry about that.
That's fine. Well, that's fine. But I'm just saying that to someone who has played a lot of Destiny and even going away from the sci-fi fantasy type thing and doing Division and things like that, it's difficult to really stand out. So Outriders I'm looking forward to on the basis of it being trying to be like a BioWare type, or taking influence from BioWare games,
but not BioWare's Anthem, very crucially.
BioWare's Anthem, I had even forgot about as an example to use in this thing, and that's BioWare, and that's they were trying to do things that were interesting, for example, building it around like an Iron Man type thing. That's that's something, that's an idea, right? But it still didn't pan out for them. So it's. And
speaking of Iron Man, another perfect segue there. Thank you, Mike.
Go on.
Throw it up, I'll catch it. Avengers, another one of those types of games that didn't really. Yeah. I could do this all day, baby.
This is like the Avengers fighting, isn't it? The way that you're like, I just thrown you Captain America's shield, and you've done something with it.
But Avengers wasn't.
William.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, Avengers even put out a new character the other day, and no one gave a shit.
Yeah, right. Camel. No, what's the name?
Kate Bishop.
I'm thinking
You're thinking of Kamala Khan, who's already in the game.
Kamala Khan, yeah, that's what.
Miss Marvel. She's already in it.
That's it, yeah. Because I saw like an end of year report, an end of year review about I don't know. I think it was about representation in games, and it came at the same time. And then people were saying it's like she's a great example of Muslim representation in games or whatever, and some guy from Assassin's Creed or whatever. So there's lots of examples of it done not very good, but at the same time I do have a good appetite for this sort of thing. And we were talking before the podcast about how I'm assuming all of us will at some point, but I know that I certainly am going to be spending a lot of time over Christmas playing Destiny 2, which is exactly that sort of game. So I'm ripe for the taking. Outriders, hit me where it hurts. So
but so that's out on February the 21st, and it's coming to next gen and previous gen and PC. So I want to look forward to it. So I'm going to say that I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to Outriders, and I'm out of all of them. Again, it hasn't got a great name either. Like I don't know if you remember, but kind of about maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago, that there was like a batch of these were kind of announced at the same time. That's right, a batch where there was at least 3 of them, right? Yeah. At least 3 of them were saying on the way soon. And it's so, you just think, what? Like they just kind of blur into each other, and it's very difficult to leap out. And so Outriders would do well to be good. I think if it was 8 out of 10, that would be very impressive for a game of this genre in such a crowded thing to come out and make any kind of positive.
I mean, at least
is impressive.
At least the combat should be good, given the developers like pedigree.
Yeah, right on. So yeah, I'm definitely into that. But I've got a wild card choice here that I don't think will be many people's lists, to be honest, and I don't even think many people even remember that it was announced, but it's actually due out this year, and it is Wizards of the Coast's self-published Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is a successor to
the trailer.
Yeah, right. So Baldur's Gate is a very well-known CRPG. Baldur's Gate 2 is even more well-known. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance came out on like the Xbox, the original Xbox, the PS2, and then the PC. And it was like a what? What would you say? Like an ARPG sort of thing, like a Diablo-y sort of style thing, but with more of a linear story that goes places, and you go back to your town and you can level up. So it was really like gateway drug to CRPGs for me anyway, and for my love for it. And obviously Larian have got the Baldur's Gate IP now, which is so it's not going to be called Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance because it's not going to be confused with the current Baldur's Gate 3, which is in the works but kind of already out. Blah, blah, blah. So this is like, it's a reimagining of that, and I think that this could be like, for people who, if they don't change the formula too much, this could be a great. Well, I will really like it, but I think for people who like ARPGs, this could be a good placeholder for Diablo 4, which I think is due out not next year but the year after. But it's a high fantasy, dark fantasy, hack 'em up sort of ARPG, third person, co-op focused, but with proper level up mechanics that are good and deep with skill trees like Diablo. So the company who are developing it haven't really got anything on their roster. They've done one other game ever, and now they've been handed the reins to this huge IP. Like, it's the first name game that's brandishing the word Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a lot to live up to here, but there's a lot of good potential as well. And I am looking forward to it because you can't really go wrong with like wizards and goblins or that. Even if it's a shit game with wizards and goblins, still, to me, quite good. Like, so I've got that, you know what I mean? And we'll speak more on Wizards and Goblins in a bit.
That's interesting, because I just want to remind you of what you said before that. You said Outriders was just something you wanted to mention quickly before you went to the main event, which was Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which I'd completely forgotten about. So that is that's good. I'll have a look at that. For me, my list now is kind of moving into TBC territory, to be honest.
All right.
So dates and stuff like that are hard to come by. But I'm at least going to try and do the ones that are TBC 2021. So at least they've kind of said it'll be out this year. So I'm going to jump. You've already said you're looking forward to some Capcom stuff, Jake. So the big one for me is Resident Evil 8. The Village, which the first trailer was, or is it Village or The Village?
Just Village.
Just Village, yeah.
Resident Evil 8 Village.
They're not calling it 8 for whatever reason, just Village.
Yeah.
Even though they did the whole thing where they did the 8 in the Village and highlighted it in bright orange.
Yeah. So this was, when was this first announced? I can't even remember what it was.
It was only announced. It was announced on the PS5 show, Liam, am I right?
Yeah, the PS5 showcase, This was announced.
And it was really it was an easy, comfortable highlight of that showcase, if I remember rightly, and that we were talking about a lot. And I really like the look of it. I love the setting, all that, that kind of werewolves and gothic castles and vampires and stuff is. I am much more into that than zombies. So it's a very, very exciting move for me, and probably not since Bloodborne, even though there's a lot of games that deal with that subject matter. I can't say I've really fucking loved a game in that setting since probably Bloodborne. Or anywhere close to that setting, that Eastern European feeling kind of.
I love it. I'm sure there is going to be some sort of pseudoscience injection to the setting. But I do.
There's going to be a lab underneath one of those.
Just before the final boss, you will walk through a lab which has loads of notes dotted around with exposition explaining how these people are turned into wolves and shit.
That's the thing. So I love that they've got that they've got their foot in folklore and stuff like that. I think that is like extremely interesting to me, and it's what I love, right? So that. So I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but Capcom got fucking rattled by some hackers, and their entire life got ruined. Everything got leaked. Their release schedule up until 2025 got leaked. Loads of information about Capcom's Resi series stuff got leaked, but I won't say anything about anything apart from it. Be careful, because it's online. Mm-hmm. There's playable builds online, right, of the game. But what I will say is that the in all of the stuff that got leaked, it's very public now, I suppose. So I don't feel it's of any detriment to say it. But the proposed release schedule for this is like April, May time. So we're not so when if you're looking forward to it yourself as well, they're not looking at like an October release, like Halloween, you might think, but it's actually more closer to the stuff that they've been doing with Resi 3 remake that came out just this year. Believe it or not, just in 2020. Yeah.
Even
you're a big Resi fan.
I am. I'm a very big Resident Evil fan.
Are you into the idea that it's big time, or do you think that it's going to be like a bit weird because it's all witches and shit?
No, like I'm into the idea of it, but like you said, it will be explained away at the end with some sort of like it's a new virus strain. It's a touchy subject at the minute in the world.
Yeah, it's too real.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it'll be like it'll be somehow Umbrella will be involved because they always are, even though they've not existed in the universe for like I don't know since Resident Evil 4, I think, was when they officially got fucked out of the canon.
Someone's going to go, ha, 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 this is all about Ouroboros. Then the protagonist is going to go, Ouroboros. And then you're going to understand more about Ouroboros.
There'll be a post-credit scene where you hear like a laugh and then someone putting on sunglasses and everyone will shout Wesker at the screen.
With a tentacle.
Oh, yeah. But,
I just want to note quickly that it's PS5 and Series X, and I don't correct me if I'm wrong. There is no previous gen, version of it. So obviously it's coming to PC as well. But I hate myself for even saying this because I'm very lucky to have managed to pre-order one and got a next gen system. But seeing the way things are going with certain games, it's good. It is actually very exciting to me that they're just concentrating on this next gen version, and then they're not thinking about previous hardware, and they're not which I'm sure is how PC games feel all the fucking time. Is that you see that other platforms, they have to make sure that whatever they design and whatever they build, it's got to work on that previous gen system as well. So. And I fucking hate myself for even thinking it, but I'm just being honest. That's how I feel, right? I'm happy that it's a next gen game.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, Resident Evil 2 and 3, but I think 2 was the shock for a lot of people. Looked great. Like, it looked really good, and the leaks of this look really good. It looks good, guys. Like. Yeah. Gorgeous looking.
Nice. It's that amazing engine they've got, which is what thingy you were saying before, Monster Hunter on the Switch. It's running on the same game engine, so that's probably why it looks so good.
That's interesting, because I don't know about Monster Hunter looking, but it really does look amazing, and I think this is the first. Well, there'll probably be something cropping up before it, but this will be the first AAA horror experience on next gen. So it's always exciting. And Resident Evil, like Capcom, are just really on a big boom.
Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't even mentioned. We've talked about it for this long. I haven't even mentioned Resident Evil 7, unless you have, and I forgot that you said it. Resident Evil 7 was great. It was really good, better than it had any right to be. Really, I think the way the series was going. For people like me, anyway, I just saw it as a series that used to be great and isn't anymore. After 5, which is okay, and 6, which wasn't. I didn't expect Resi 7 to be as good as it was, and I would say that I love Resident Evil 7. I would go back to it now.
100%, yeah. Like, I think going first person was people was thinking that was going to be the death knell of the series. Yeah. Turn it into an action game, and now you turn it into a bloody Amnesia ripoff. But no, and so it's worth saying, isn't it, that even though they're not calling it Resident Evil 8, even though it is 8 and it's Village or whatever, this is a direct sequel to
7.
7. You say same protagonist.
Yep, same main character. Chris is back. Even they've turned him into an absolute tank of a human this time.
Yeah.
Like he's a wide boy. Yeah. I mean, that's one way to set the tone of the game as well, by having Chris Redfield murder the main character's wife in the very first trailer of the game.
Yeah.
Which is
Come on. You know what I mean?
That's how you set the tone.
Is he going to be the Mr. X of you know what I mean? Is he going to be the nemesis?
Yeah.
A proper unit,
just like, kicking down the
Bavarian cottage doors. Yeah. So
like, I really like what people like, because a lot of people people have seen it behind closed doors and stuff. I've not seen any of the stuff that's like leaked online about it, so I don't know about any of that. But people have been saying like they've been going more for like a Resident Evil 4 sort of tone with it, where it's going to have like, there's going to be a merchant in it, people like Capcom were saying. There's going to be inventory management, which is one of the best bits of Resident Evil 4, which is weird to say, with your your case and having to rotate everything like Tetris. But yeah, it's like, going back to like the Gothic castle and everything, I'm looking forward to it big time. And I can't wait to see what mad excuses they come up with for justifying werewolves in this universe.
I can't wait. So definitely a big highlight on the year coming up for all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
All right, Liam, what you got next?
So next, the only other game I've got that actually has a release date so far is sort of cheating because it's a remake, but it's Nier Replicant, which is out on April 23rd.
Yeah.
So it is literally straight up, like, at first people thought it was a remaster of the original Nier game, which came out on 360 and PS3, but it turns out it's just a straight up remake, and they've redone the combat, redone the visuals and everything. They've tuned it so it's like, if you've played Nier Automata, you'll feel more at home with it. But apart from that, like, the story from the original is intact. All the music. I don't know if the music's been like reorchestrated or something, but it might have been. But yeah, it's just like, it's a straight up remake, and it's apparently got some added like bits to it to connect it more to Nier Automata. Because the original one like has connections, but they're very like faint, and you wouldn't have known at the time because Nier Automata didn't exist at the time. But it's good to see Yoko Taro finally getting the love and praise he deserves, and his games finally being put in the spotlight like they deserve. And yeah, like, this is, well, it's a remake and a sort of new game at the same time, because it's based on, in Japan, Nier came out in two versions, one on 360 and one on PS3. The one on 360 you played as like a dad in it, and in the one on PS3 you played as a pretty anime boy, like brother was the main character instead of a dad. So this is like a remake of the PS3 version. So it's sort of like retconned the main character of Nier out of the game. So bye old man Nier, he's gone apparently. But yeah, they've been slowly showing it off. Like, I think they showed a trailer at the Game Awards, and damn, it looks good. Like,
yeah,
like seeing how much of an improvement it looks over the original Nier is like kind of mind blowing. So I'm looking forward to this one big time.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna put that on my list as well, because I'm definitely one of the I hadn't played and touched the series until Nier Automata, and even that I was just kind of what's all this about kind of thing, and I played the demo. Mm-hmm. That's actually what got me into it on a PS4, and I liked it a lot. And so yeah, I'll definitely play this. And it sounds perfect for someone like me who just has no experience of it, and we'll just get in something.
It'll be good for newcomers.
Yeah, totally. All right, Jake, you got anything else?
Yeah, I've got a few, but I guess the only one I have that has a actual release date. It's just it's Bethesda's Deathloop, but you know what I mean.
Well, I can certainly get a sense of why you put this on your most anticipated list.
I think it looks good.
It looks really good, but it's just I can't. You know what it is, boys. I'll tell you.
It's just meant to be the games you're most excited about. And
trying to explain it from the trailers. Just I can't be asked, right? So I'll just skip it. But I do look forward to it. I do. Hey, I do. You know, I love the idea that they're doing a new IP. I want to like Arcane, and they don't make it easy for me. But I actually really do.
Yeah.
There's also a game called Returnal that is like a sci-fi shooter. It's actually got a release date. It's out in March, and that is a psychological horror, or at least they've pegged it to be.
I'm looking forward to that, but it's got a terrible name.
Exactly, terrible name. But yeah, that's the PS5 exclusive out in March, so that is actually going to be the first AAA horror game. But do you know, to just get into the big meat here? Yeah,
can I just say something super quick? Yeah, there's only one person on the planet who could get away with a game name like Returnal, and that's Hideo Kojima.
Oh right, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like the subtitle of a Death Stranding sequel.
Yeah.
Death Returnal. Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my most anticipated game of the year. I'll just give you the what do you reckon?
God of War.
It's not, but I fucking, by the way, my brother got a PS5 recently. He managed to get his hands on one by listen to this, guys, going into a shop and just picking one up.
Who knew? Going into what?
Physical. It's like a house, but there's no one lives there. They just sell things, and then they sell different things, and he picked it up and he paid the man. He doesn't even know the man. He just paid him.
Like what they would have done in like World War II and Victorian times, and like a butcher or a barber or something.
Very artisanal. He bought a PS5, so of course, I lent him Demon's Souls, and he started God of War, and he said, "Oh, I didn't get far into it." He's just done it, and we were talking about it, and he was talking about this bit and this bit, and it reminded me, oh my god, what a game! So God of War, is great. I don't know if anyone else is going to talk about it later, so I won't say it. But I actually am really fucking looking forward to that Harry Potter game, innit? Hogwarts Legacy. Come on, bro. Like, the thing is, you haven't had a Harry Potter game for a while. The IP is perfect. There's a huge scope just in the grounds of Hogwarts. So if you don't go around Hogsmeade and all that Ministry, if you're just staying in Hogwarts, you still got the grounds. I remember playing the Harry Potter games on the PS1 and whatnot. And they still had big scope. You could go on. They had a simple system of go and do your lessons at a certain time, but you could bunk off and not go. And
this as a next gen title again is something that I'm excited about. I'm really excited about the idea of this being something that is going to be on my PS5. I'm looking forward to.
This is exactly it. I know that haptic feedback is going to go right. I know that there's going to be nice particle effects. Is there going to be a troll in a dungeon? Who knows? But it's like 200 years or so, I think, in it before. I actually have it written down here. It's the late 1800s.
Do you know, which for some reason just makes it so much more appealing than if it was like present day Harry Potter universe kind of thing.
So
that really helps. That's great.
It seems like it's just gonna bang, man. Like I like Avalanche are developing and everyone's saying it's a proper RPG, but I can imagine hot bar is not going to be there, but like like in the Souls games, you got your little wheel at the bottom. I can imagine there'll be different spells and whatever you can equip, and you can only have a certain amount at a time. But like, remember this kind of leaked like years before they made it official, and it looked great then. Like, it had some really crazy looking stuff, and there was all these features that the guy who leaked it said that were going to be in there, and I guess I won't talk about them just in case they're not in the game, but it set the bar, and then there was the proper trailer, and I just it's kind of like that bully kind of thing, there's so much potential, and I've just recently been watching the Harry Potter films again. I always do around Christmas. I always watch Harry Potter, watch Lord of the Rings, because I'm a millennial British guy, so you've got to always watch both of them around Christmas, or else who are you?
Well, listen, due to a confusion around Christmas gifts, I have ended up with 2 copies of the 4K Blu-ray of Lord of the Rings.
Put them together, mate. 8K. That's how it works, isn't it?
So, you don't have to explain yourself to me. Well, seeing as you mentioned it, there is that Lord of the Rings Gollum game coming up as well, which is not a pick for me, I've got to be honest. I mean, when I heard the words Lord of the Rings, I thought, this is insanely exciting. And then I heard the word Gollum, I thought, nah.
Just imagine the conversation around that table and the amount of compromise necessary to agree that out of all of the Lord of the Rings, depth there, that you could, the giant well that you could pool the resources of, you went, Well, no, maybe that's a bit. No, okay. Don't do one about the ring wraiths. No. Okay, Gollum. And then a bunch of 40-year-old guys have just gone. Well, yeah. I mean, people like Gollum, don't they? You know, he was a. I don't know.
I think it's probably people going, oh, we've heard all these stories before. I want to hear a different story. I want to hear Gollum's story. No, we've heard all the stories before because they're great stories. I mean, Gollum is a great character, and it's a really interesting and complicated character. But I don't want to fucking spend 40 hours in a video game with a guy. So I'm not. I mean, maybe it'll be great. You know, I'm hoping it'll be great, obviously. But I haven't had a really great Lord of the Rings game in a while. But
the guys, the dev team, they're just not impressive. They pump out about 6-7 games a year.
They Dalek Entertainment. Sorry,
Daedalic, but it's true. They push out a good 6-7 games a year, mobile games and all these puzzle games and Professor Layton rip-offs and fucking this and that. And occasionally some of it sparks just enough to get some good reviews, but for them to then be handed over this like huge IP, how the fuck did they get the Lord of the Rings IP? Like, what the fuck is that?
Which as someone who is constantly saying there needs to be a Lord of the Rings Total War game, I know there's a mod and it's great, but there needs to be an official Lord of the Rings Total War game. It blows my mind that we have had 2 open world games set entirely in Mordor and Lord of the Rings Gollum before we've had the Lord of the Rings Total War game.
I wonder if the Lord of the Rings TV show that Amazon currently and the worst kept secret in gaming at the moment, that there's the revival of the Lord of the Rings Online, which will be out next year, is maybe they've gone, well, Gollum's not in that one, and Gollum's not in the TV series, so you can have Gollum. Just don't touch Rivendell. We're going to be drawing on that.
Maybe.
They've siphoned it off,
It could be that. Yeah, it could be some. Yeah, you're totally right. It could be like what characters are available for licensing. It could be, Anyway, this isn't the least anticipated list. Apologies to the Dalek Entertainment. It's nothing personal, obviously. Just a podcast, isn't it? Who cares what we think? So that, I thought that was just we should mention that quickly. I just want to say super quick as well. It's just one that on the technical side, I'm really looking forward to it again as a PS5 exclusive this time, so it's not on Series X. Ratchet and Clank: Rift Apart. I actually can't wait just to see what it looks like and how many particles are on the screen.
This was my last favorite pick as well, I think.
Yeah. I think the Ratchet and Clank remake is still, after everything that's been, after the Resident Evil remakes and everything, the Ratchet and Clank remake is still a highlight for me. It still stands out as the beginning of it all, almost, of this trend of really fucking good high quality remakes that we've been enjoying for a few years. This was, in my mind, the first, if not if it's one of the first, and it looks superb. It's great fun to play. It's really light, and it's an excellent showcase for what the PS4 could do back then. And I really hope that this is going to be the same. So that's Ratchet and Clank: Rift Apart. No date yet. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Anyway.
No.
So I just wanted to do that one quickly. Is there anything else that has got a date, or are we now in full TBC territory?
Oh,
for me, we're in full TBC.
And me.
Yeah.
Jake?
No, the date got moved, but there was one for Vampire the Masquerade, but it's moved.
Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, I'll just do my most anticipated game.
Yeah, go on.
Full on, because that's TBC, and that is the Mass Effect. Well, it's not even really. It's been announced. I don't know. Mass Effect, the remaster trilogy. Is it? I don't even know where we're up to, but I don't care. That's the only thing I want to play. That is my. Yeah. Does it exist officially?
Yeah, they announced it on November the 7th, of course, and it's called the Legendary Edition. That's what it was.
Yeah, okay.
And it's coming out on the Xbox One, the PS4, and the PC, all remastered and optimized for 4K Ultra HD. There we go. So no next-gen versions.
I cannot wait. I really can't wait. I was so close. To just playing Mass Effect and then I must have Googled it or something. I must have Googled something to do with Mass Effect as I was thinking about replaying it, on my Xbox, One, and then I saw this article and I was like, okay, a remaster, and then I was looking into it and the possibilities and the rumors about what's going to get done to the first Mass Effect, which needs the most work in terms of gameplay and things. I am seriously... So I was already in the mood to play Mass Effect as it was, and then there's the possibility of a remaster. So I'm really, really looking forward to this. I haven't played the series, the original trilogy. I haven't played them in years. And I was playing Mass Effect Andromeda this year, and I wasn't hating it. So I am really looking forward.
How it's bad,
So I'm really looking forward. Well, my dad played through Mass Effect Andromeda and bloody loved it after listening to us talk about it. So I think that it probably could still appeal to people, Andromeda. But I think it's when you're a big Mass Effect fan is the problem.
It's like watching The Hobbit. I'm sure that's a perfectly fine trilogy of films.
Yeah, sure, yeah, okay.
Watch the Lord of the Rings first, isn't it?
So Mass Effect, the remaster, remake, whatever. It's a remaster, isn't it? But with some tinkering going on. It really needs to happen. It feels overdue. It's one of those big trilogies, those big series that came out on the 360 that really kind of made the 360 an amazing console. It was a 360 exclusive, the first game. But I still think of them as, that generation, that era, like Dead Space and Bioshock and all that. So I cannot fucking wait. And I don't even care there's a new game coming out. Like, I'm sure it'll be something. But the trilogy, I know that they are great games, and I want them to look nicer. Easy. Give me that.
That's good. That's really good. Liam, did you say that it was the last game on your list a minute ago? Did you?
No.
Have you got more?
I've got more, but I was of my highlights, I was saying Ratchet and Clank was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What else have I got? Firmly in TBC as well. No More Heroes 3. I forgot about that. That's
No More Heroes 1 and 2 just get ESRB rated for PC.
They did, week. Yeah. So they got HD ports to this Switch not that long ago, and apparently they're coming to PC as well now. So it's a good time to be a No More Heroes fan. So No More Heroes 3 got stealth announced. Weirdly, at the end of a game, when Travis Strikes Again came out on the Switch, when you got to the end of that game, it just full on said, we're making a third one, and then cut to credits, and then that was it. So this is it's No More Heroes back again after, I think the last one came out in 2010-ish, I think. I'm probably wrong about that. But yeah, it's a hack and slash game, sword combat, lots of combos, very over the top, very silly humour, just stupid all round, directed by Suda51, who he's just he could give Yoko Taro a run for his money, and just how madcap he is. If the two of them worked on a game together, the world might implode. But it's just they've slowly been showing bits and pieces about this one. You remember it had that trailer at a Nintendo Direct one time where it was a 5-minute animated short about this boy and his alien friend, but then at the end his alien friend came back and was a total bastard and wanted to kill him and destroy Earth. And that's pretty much Suda51 for you in a nutshell. I'm looking forward to this game a lot. It's good to see Travis Touchdown, that is the character's name. It's good to see him back after a while, and it's it'll be intriguing to see what they do on the Switch, because I think Nintendo might have a hand in getting it made, so it might be a Switch exclusive. I don't know. It probably won't be at the end of the day, but it's good. I'm looking forward to it because it's a good 2021 seems to be a good time to be a fan of cult classic Japanese action games. And it's just amazing to see this series coming back despite all it never sold well. Got good reviews, but even word of mouth about it was quite low. It's one of those games where if you're a fan of it, you're a big fan and you sing it from the rooftops, but if you don't care about it, you've never heard of it, you probably won't buy it, you probably won't care about it. But if you do, it's good to...
You know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. It's good to have it coming back after all these years.
Cool.
All right, I got a couple more. I'll just burn. This is just a little fucking appetizer. I just want to put in there that I'm looking forward to very much the PS5 and Xbox Series X upgrades for The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Probably delayed now because they're just trying to get Cyberpunk 2077 out of early access.
Yeah, so, which I'm also looking forward to the upgrade of that.
Yeah,
to the
full launch. Yeah. So when that releases, we can hopefully expect The Witcher. But I reckon that'll be delayed now, and I just hope that with their tail between their legs and a bit of a reality check, they will work hard to remind everybody why the best game that they've ever made is the best game they've ever made. I did dabble with The Witcher 3 this week, actually, and found it a bit sickening how fast the camera move and motion blur affected me. So actually, Cyberpunk does look better than The Witcher 3 on my PS5. So I'm looking forward to that one. So that's just one. That's just a little something.
I mean, they could outsource it. They don't have to delay. They could outsource it to get the people who did the Switch version. If they can get that, don't do that. No, but here's what I'm saying about that is if they can get that running on the Switch, imagine what they can do with actual powerful hardware.
Yeah, that's
what I mean.
They should outsource it, and they probably are. I mean, listen, CD Projekt, you want some business advice? Give us a call, okay? We'll tell you fucking everything you should be doing over the next few months. But they should be outsourcing it.
So you can laugh. But,
yeah, that's true. No, I shouldn't laugh. Jobs are on the line.
Right. So from one critically acclaimed dev studio to a critically acclaimed publishing house that have not managed to release a game yet. I am huge. Like this. Do you know what?
Yeah.
This,
not managed to release a game yet. Oh, I'm puzzled.
Whoa!
Do it.
I have played the game. And I love it, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know why I'm in the market for it, but Amazon's New World. I really want to play this game, man. Like, it's been in my head, little bits and bobs, and I played it in August, and I went on a family holiday, right?
Yeah,
and I was on a holiday, and we were out by the sea, in West Wales, and it's nice and peaceful there, and there's nothing going on, and it was a bit of a pandemic, so everything was quiet. And I was sitting there thinking about, New World was good, the other day. It was almost tranquil. Like, that's what I liked about it. I used to play it on my lunch breaks. And because you'd go through the motions on an MMO, cutting down trees and blah, 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 it was meditative. Like, I liked it. I'm in the market for it now. My plan for 2021 is get a good gaming laptop. Yeah, get one of them Razer Blades, I think. And then I'm gonna play Amazon New World in bed and piss off my wife while she's watching a fucking Schitt's Creek or whatever she's watching. But I don't know what it is. I'm really in the mood for an MMO lately, and I've played and got a taste for New World, and I want to play it. It's got great potential, and they're updating it constantly. There's people who are in there right now, alpha testing it and whatever, and they're posting updates. I follow them on Twitter. And all their updates, they're posting patch logs for a game, patch notes for a game that you can't even play, but you can see they've added new weapons and they've taken away a lot of the things that were really kind of messing up the game. I think that one thing that they were almost there with so much of it. Like the PvP was a little bit flat, but it is like I say flat because it's like if you're teaching somebody to sing and you can see their potential and you can get them to tune that, which is just that's what thing about Amazon's New World, right? So much of the things wrong with it is just technique. Okay. It's not like a really shit idea at its core and they're just trying to polish a turd. Like the thing is there that it's good, but they just need to get it a little bit better. Everything just needs a bit more, which is why it's not out yet. So that, great, because they could have just literally sold this as an early access MMO. They could do that, but they're not trying to.
There's plenty of games that have been in that situation and turned out, quite good. So it's a pattern, isn't it? So that's that's cool. That's a good one to check in. Okay, let me ask you a final difficult question then. If you for any game that has no even indication whatsoever that it'll arrive in 2021, Well, that's it. If you could just kind of make it so, even if it's unannounced, I would venture, even if there's just been rumors or something like that. What would you have coming out in 2021 that isn't currently on this slate?
It's Elden Ring for absolute sure. The only reason I don't want it on 2021 is instead, if it was 2020, then even better. But Elden Ring is my most anticipated game ever, and then followed up maybe by, don't know, maybe it's morbid curiosity, but I do want to see what that new Fable's like, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's my...
Yeah, Elden Ring would I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I would really love to see that next year. But they do kind of release, they do put things out regularly, don't they?
Stop it. They do.
But they do.
Yeah, there's one big fat factor that you've forgotten about, isn't it? That's it's also attached with a guy whose track record for releasing things is so bad that a cult classic TV show was cult classic now, isn't it? A big blockbuster, huge, sell the t-shirts in Primark. Everyone was talking about it in the office. TV show was born and died a hell of a death and was forgotten about in the time it took him to complete the next book in the series that the show was based on, George R.R. Martin. So they're super, super proficient FromSoft, who don't ever go more than 2 years without releasing the game and haven't since 2009. It's the what is it? The unstoppable force and the immovable object. So we've got but those two things are trying to actually work together, which makes it even more of a fucking. It's they're both wanting to go over there, but unfortunately the immovable object is still immovable, even with
the unstoppable force is going. Come on, let's go. Okay. So that's good. That's good. Elden Ring and Fable 4 gets a little chuck in there for fun as well. Liam, have you got anything as an answer?
The one game I do know it does exist, Final Fantasy 16, of course. But we've only really seen that one trailer from the PlayStation 5 event. But it's Final Fantasy. I will forever carry on being Stockholm Syndrome for Square Enix. No matter how shitty they are, I still find ways to love them. But yeah, Final Fantasy 16 looks great. It looks like they're going back to basics in a way, back to like the sort of like sci-fi. They're going back to high fantasy, like knights and castles and stuff like that. It's being made by the people who make Final Fantasy 14, which has been celebrated. You see it in Game of the Year list every single year at this point for the last few years because of its expansion packs and patches. It's being produced by Yoshi P, who everyone in the Final Fantasy community loves him because he's like seemingly one of the only people left at Square Enix who can actually start a project and finish it. So it's in good hands. But then I also do want to see it, but this is like probably way off. Again from Square Enix, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, because I want to see what that can do on next gen hardware. Because Final Fantasy VII Remake looks amazing on PS4. What can you do with a PS5? And especially I want that game to start, and you just like step out into Midgar, like you step out of Midgar for the first time into the world. I can see it in my head. I'm probably going to end up disappointing myself because it probably won't be that at all. But I want to see what they can do now with next gen hardware for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah,
they're really good answers. That's a good answer. I would imagine it's tough to know with that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or whatever it's called, whatever it's going to be called. It's like, could they have developed them in parallel at all? Like, I'm sure the concept artists and things would have been available for the last kind of 18 months, wouldn't they? So they could have started some stuff, but how far off is it exactly? Is it
I'm sure they've done most of the groundwork already with like developing all the art assets and they've got the game engine ready to go and everything.
Yeah, the core system surely wouldn't be changed that much. Like,
that's it. Yeah,
conceptualizing that, what must have took a lot of time. But now that they've got it fluid and it works, like
just a bit of tweaking, evolution to it or something, adding some elements in or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good answer. I don't know. I like Jake said earlier with The Witcher. I'm actually just really looking forward to a lot of next gen patches, and even things that there's no indication that it's even going to happen. But I just want to see it. I want to see like a Battlefield 5 patch, and it runs. Give it a spin. It runs good. It runs good. But I just seeing the difference in Destiny. Like I played a little bit of Destiny 2 before the patch, and it was okay. It was good. But then after the patch, the controller support, it's just they didn't use the resistive triggers at all, but they've really dialed up their like haptic stuff and running at like 60 frames solid and looking better. And it's just any game that's going to have dev time spent on it to make it specific to the platform is going to benefit from it. So I really want to see a lot of even fucking Star Wars Battlefront 2. Give me that. That looks great on last gen. I want to see what it looks like on PS5. Yeah. I'm looking forward to a lot of patches, basically.
Battlefield 6 is all but confirmed for next year as well, right? Yeah. So that will be next year's graphical showcase, I think.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think it's actually a difficult question. But I think, honestly, I would say, well, I've probably got two answers. I would say mainly Beyond Good and Evil 2. I've been looking forward to that for a while. And I would love to see it, and it looks promising. I hope that they can. The reason we haven't heard anything is because they're readjusting because of next gen, because it's been going for that long that they would. I hope they're doing what CD Projekt should have done. Said this ain't gonna fucking run on a PS4. Let's call it a day. It's a next gen game, and then just go dark for another 18 months, and then announce it as a next gen title. So I hope that that's what's going on with it. It looks like a very technically, kind of exciting. Everything they're showing. If it looks anything like, if the world that they're presenting to you in the CGI trailers and shit like that is in any way communicated in what the game actually looks and plays like, is going to be great. So I'm really looking forward to Beyond Good and Evil 2, and I would love to see even just another announcement or something this year, just a trailer or just same situation as Elden Ring, innit? Tell us something.
Yeah, just show it's still alive, because that's the truth of the matter is that these days, like a lot of these huge projects have 100-man, 500-man, 1,000-man teams. Yeah. So, they're very expensive, and a lot of them do run into some problems and get canned, right? Valve are the kings of that, right? So I just think that, just a sign of life at this point would be good.
Absolutely.
Don't worry about setting any expectations, or just another cinematic trailer would be nice, right? Prove it's still going. Yeah.
And they've been doing some cool stuff that I quite like. The community thing that turned out to be outrageous. To where they were saying, "Do you want to design some artwork for the game or whatever?" Yeah. So it's kind of like they were just kind of inviting people to do some work for them. But that kind of gives you a sense of the size, I guess, of the world, and not to fucking cyberpunk it up a little bit too much here, but it does get, if they are calling people out, asking for help to do posters and graphics and shit to appear in the world, it must be quite a big world. So I'm really looking forward to this. The other thing is Total War Warhammer 3, which I've been waiting for. So Total War Warhammer was originally meant to be a sequential, trilogy. So every year it was meant to be 1, 2, 3. And that hasn't happened. We haven't had Total War Warhammer 3 whenever it was meant to be, this year just gone, or
2018 or
so it hasn't happened. So but from as far as all the indications are, it's still being worked on, and they're still supporting Warhammer 2, and I love Warhammer 2. I played it more than anything else this year. I'm really curious to see what they can actually do with it, in terms of, without just redoing some of the first game, which it sounds like they're going to do, and just developing the factions that were in the first game. So I'm really looking forward to Total War Warhammer 3. There is absolutely no news about it. Just, what your Total War YouTubers and streamers and whatever kind of doing their wish lists and things like that. And as time goes on, they're talking more and more about the sequel. So I'd love to see that. So let us know down in the comments what you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
Send in your emails to dearspecialmoves@gmail.com. We will read them out in the following kind of episodes. Let us know what you're looking forward to this year. Let us know what you want to see announced that has, that maybe it's been quiet for a long time. Do tell us. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching over the last year while we've been doing it on Zoom. Which is not even Zoom, sorry. What were we using? Discord. It's. I mean, we had no idea that.
Not sofa in sight, but I mean, there is one there, but
there is
not
one there,
sofa in sight. And then Leo, I'm bringing the sofa in the background.
I'm repping the salt lamp. I can't even.
Leo's got a salt lamp. So
go. Again, and I'm repping the fucking Penrose Road residence.
It's like how in posh restaurants they deconstruct stuff. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's actually gourmet. It's actually it's an a la carte menu. So thanks everyone. Just because it is worth saying, isn't it, that it isn't what you signed up for. But thanks everyone for listening and watching anyway. It's actually kind of been weird in terms of I think we've probably been able to be a bit more consistent because it's less of a upheaval having to drive fucking an hour, 40 minutes.
Minutes before this was recorded, Liam had the bagel. He doesn't have the capability to do that when we're recording.
Yeah.
Oh no! Until we get to your house, in which case there's normally a lot more food.
Well, but
it's like you stop at Mackey's on the way.
Yeah, but we're trying to be positive. So it's
it's actually a good thing. Just thanks for the continued support and stuff. I hope you had a nice Christmas and a happy New Year. We'll see you next week.
Business as usual. See you later. Bye.